Hey everybody, Julio DeSanctis here with Hodgkin's 2 Electric Boogaloo. I am without coffee this morning. I am without any food. I am fasting in anticipation of my PET CT scan. Um, that happens at like 1 o'clock today and maybe 1:30, I think. And, so it's not going to be until like after 3 that I'll get to eat. Now, normally, pre-cancer, and one of the ways I lost 50 something pounds over the last 18 months before I got diagnosed was I did like that daytime fasting, right? I just drank tons of coffee and I wasn't hungry, right? If you pump enough caffeine into your system, guess what? You will not feel hunger pangs. So I can't have coffee, so of course I'm feeling hungry, in which case I don't know if I'm feeling grumpy or not. I am sort of the kind of person that gets to be grumpy when I don't eat. Of course I am. I mean, I was almost 300 pounds. If you think a 300-pound person doesn't ever get to like feed me type status when they're hungry, you've never been around a fatso. Anyway, today, so the other day they took out my PICC line, right? I mean, I know that's just really just like a little bit of bruising and stuff, but there is a hole there. There's a hole where my PICC line was, and I've been practicing this for you. I've been working on this, so let's see if I can do this. Here we go. Ready? There's a little hole in my arm, and I'm going to see if I can make some music for you. Not bad, right? I'm just kidding, of course. You can't actually whistle through your arm, but this is gone. I was disappointed that this had to stay on my chest. I asked him if there was any way that they could keep the PICC line and lose the chest thing. And my doctor was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you the guy that knows all about the best way to administer a T-cell transfusion now? Oh, wait. Maybe it's you now that gets to decide what's the best way for you to get your T-cells." I would have liked it this way. She wasn't really that sarcastic. She just said, "No, this is the way that we do T-cell transfusion." It would have been nicer if it was in the arm because this is still painful and it's been a week now, but whatever. Hopefully gradually I get used to it to the point where when they take it away, I miss it. Wouldn't that be something? Anyway, so the PET CT scan. Here are the 3 things that always happen when I get into the PET CT scan. The PET CT scan, it's a small chamber, right? And it's totally covering you. And if your chest and stomach stick up at all, you're in there tight. And you've got shoulders, you're in there tight. And I have to have my arms up high and I go through. And my arms are then pinned on the other side, right? My arms are pinned this way. I can't get them through. And immediately, as soon as I get into that PET CT scan and I'm like that and my arms are stuck behind me, the first thing I think is, holy shit, I got to scratch my balls. Always. Never fails. Always. Then I usually think, I hope I look thin on my PET CT scan. Somehow or another, I'm always worried about my svelte figure. It's not like I'm posing for, a Vargas pinup. It's all laid out, but whatever. The ego is what it is. And then finally, I think, I wonder if my dick's going to look big on this PET CT scan. Again, it's all ego. It all just comes from, right? Do I look thin? Is my package sizable? Silly. But if there's other people out there, other men out there that have gone through these PET CT scans and haven't had those thoughts, I'd love to hear from you because I think you're a fucking liar. That's what I think. If your balls don't immediately itch after you can no longer scratch them, I think you're a liar. But if we can continue on the conversation about my penis, let's talk about sponge baths. Because if you've ever thought watching these, how does he shower with this giant thing attached to his chest? You can't anymore. When I had the thing on my arm, I could shower. I put basically a bread bag on my arm and tied it off with rubber bands. That was a bread bag with the end open up, and there you go. I could take a shower. This, I cannot take a shower, so I have to have sponge baths. And it's not nearly as sexy as they make it out to be in the porn industry. Sponge baths do not lead to group sex, in my experience. Um, on top of that, when I'm in the hospital, I they hospitals nowadays expect you to self-administer your sponge bath, probably because they don't want to get sued. So they give you these things called chlorhexidine, something or another, gluconate, chlorhexidine gluconate. I'm not gonna make you think that I knew what that was just in the back of my head. I have it on my computer screen here. So chlorhexidine gluconate turns out to be something that I am horribly allergic to. The first time I put chlorhexidine gluconate sponge bath on me, I broke out in a rash. Whenever they changed my dressing and they did it with chlorhexidine gluconate, I broke out in a rash. Not just like a regular rash, like biblical Egyptian God's curse on the Egyptians type rash, like boils. So instead, I have to take betadine, which is like iodine, and it's not anything you would want to give yourself a sponge bath with. So they have these, what do you call it? Anti-allergenic or hypoallergenic alternative to chlorhexidine gluconate. But those leave like soap all over you. They were like, it's just basically soap and water in a package that you tear open. Okay, but if you don't have water, you can't take off the soap. So you wind up with like this soapy film and you feel awful, right? It just is scratchy and gross. You feel gross. So then the final alternative is they have the shower in the bathroom, which they don't want you to really use because of the stuff on you, right? Because you could get your dressing wet. So then they basically leave you with you leave the hose thing, not the shower head that comes down, the little hose thing, and they allow you your privacy to take a shower / sponge bath. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry I had to share all that with you. Now you get to know things that even my mother doesn't know until she watches this. That even my wife doesn't know until she watches this. So that's the kind of stuff that you have to go through sponge bath wise. Sponge baths aren't sexy. They make them out to be sexy. In adult films, sponge baths look sexy. Seinfeld even. George Costanza, it looked like a sexy sponge bath that he got to see through the shadow of that curtain. But they're not sexy. They're sad. They make you feel lonely. They make you hope that this is all over. So anyway, there you go. CT scan, PET CT scans and sponge baths to fill you in on what the life of a cancer patient is like. Fuck cancer. Keep fighting the good fight. Go get vaccinated. And I'll do another video soon. Love you all. Bye-bye.